Hey everyone, I'm Vanessa Russell from Women's Health Interactive. Thank you for joining me on this episode where we're going to explore the phenomenon known as squirting. Now, you should know off the bat that it is completely normal, healthy, and awesome. I have the pleasure, no pun intended, of talking about this topic with three incredible experts. Dr. Susan Milstein is the founder and lead consultant for Milstein Health Consulting. With a PhD in human sexuality education and as a Master Certified Health Education Specialist, Dr. Milstein is also the co-author of the 6th edition of Human Sexuality, Making Informed Decisions. Dr. Laurie Mintz is a feminist professor, author, speaker who did a recent TEDx talk, and therapist. She is a tenured professor at the University of Florida and author of 2 popular books. For over 30 years, Dr. Mintz has run a small private practice, working with individuals and couples on general sexual issues. Samia Burton is the owner and founder of Sexual Essentials. As a sexual educator, she teaches individuals how to create the sex life they truly desire through hands-on courses and addressing sexual topics head-on with actual tools to create solutions, with the goal of turning their sex lives into something to be truly proud of and fulfilling for the long term. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to jump right in, so let's get to it. What is squirt and what color is it? Is there anything that signifies it as normal versus, ooh, see a doctor?
If it's female ejaculate, it's a little bit like a milky color. Squirting tends to be colorless.
The more gushing squirting type, the type that you often see in porn images, is those 2 cc's of liquid, the female ejaculate, mixed with diluted urine.
From your mouth, squirt is actually pee?
Well, it is not just pee, and I don't want people to hear this and be like, oh, if it happens to me, I peed the bed. No, it's very, very different. It's highly diluted urine mixed with female ejaculate from the female prostate gland. If you can look at this picture from my book, Becoming Clitorate, what you'll see is above the vaginal canal is the urethra. And the urethra is wrapped in a spongy, like a spongy material, which you can see. And that's got a really important purpose. And that is it protects the urethra during penile vaginal intercourse, because the vagina and the urethra really sit like this. And so it protects the urethra.
With your urethra, it can, when you have certain types of stimulation, involuntarily, you can emit liquids. And because it comes out of the urethra, sometimes it can have urine in it. Like if there is urine in your bladder, it will come out at this time, but it doesn't come out the same. It doesn't come out as a flow, like, okay, she's in there peeing really hard, like she had 3 beers. It's not like that. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's a little, sometimes it squirts everywhere, sometimes it goes right into the sheets. And it's mixed with other things like water and sugar and all these other scientific-y things.
Is there a difference between female ejaculation and squirting? I often see it used synonymously, which I feel can be confusing. So what is your take on that?
People use all different terms, basically. When I and a lot of other sex therapists refer to female ejaculate, we're talking about those 2 cc's of white fluid from the female prostate gland that often most people don't even know that it's happening, because it's so small, it mixes with other fluids. And then squirting is more, again, that female ejaculate mixed with the diluted urine. And again, it's not the same as peeing yourself.
$1 million question. Why do women squirt? Do we know?
I wish I had one clear answer for that. Or why some women do sometimes and not other times, or why, yeah, I wish there was one clear answer. I think that a lot of it goes into kind of where our brains are at the time. So our brain is one of the biggest things that can inhibit how turned on we are. You know, if we're getting intimate with a partner and we're thinking like, like, did I shut the oven? Our brains aren't really turned on. And so we're going to have a completely different physical experience. And so I think for a lot of women, it's being comfortable with who they are, comfortable with what's happening, and then maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't.
If you have someone who says, I'm really fascinated about squirting, I want to know if I can, what are some ways that I can experience this for myself through masturbation? What advice or insight would you give to that person?
When you tire the body out, you also tire out your mind. So having multiple orgasms is a great way to help your body squirt. Joint stimulation and, clitoral stimulation, of course.
Get one of those G-spot vibrators, lube it up, relax, and masturbate maybe as you normally would. So you're excited, and use some lube and put that G-spot vibrator into your vagina and see what happens.
What advice would you give to someone who would like to put that into their sex life with their partner and try to explore that?
With a partner, I would say bring some toys into the bedroom, and you have to have patience. It takes 18 minutes minimum to even get fully aroused for a man or for a woman. And having a quick orgasm is not going to make you ejaculate. It's not. The longer, the more drawn out your orgasm is, the bigger the orgasm will be. And what I tell you, the bigger the orgasm, then we can make you squirt.
What is squirting during sex? Is that a sign of orgasm? Is it a completely separate phenomenon, or what is that about?
Yeah. So women might have an orgasm and never squirt. Sometimes they'll squirt and it's not a real, I don't want to say a real orgasm, but it's not as intense an orgasm as maybe they've had in other ways. So when I talk about it, I really like to separate them out. It also takes some of the pressure off, because if you equate orgasm with squirting, then if someone doesn't squirt, it means they didn't orgasm, if you kind of follow that logic through. So it's one of those things that can happen during sex. It's often a really great feeling as long as you understand it. If you've never had it happen before, it's a little bit concerning, but it may or may not be associated with orgasm.
No sexual encounter should be goal-oriented, and that includes orgasm. Trying to achieve a sexual goal is going to make the experience less pleasurable. And we know orgasm of all types are more likely to occur if we're focused mindfully, our mind and body in the same place, and we're focused on our bodily pleasure.
People who had it happen to them or who squirt on a regular basis, it's like, okay, like I'm cool now, this is okay, and my partner may not freak out. So I think in some ways it's fantastic. I think in some ways it can be harmful because you put that pressure on you. Like, I have to have this happen, and if I don't, I'm broken. Or a partner of, well, you didn't squirt this time, so what did I do wrong? And so that's where I wish we could have more conversations about, like, every time it's going to be a little bit different. Every reaction is going to be a little bit different.
If you're trying to learn anything in sex, honestly, stop looking for how to do one thing, because sex is an intertwined web of things and everything is connected to something else. I cannot give tips. I cannot give, a quick class on how to do. Stop looking for that quick thing. If that worked, we would all know how to do all the things, but we don't. We're still recreating the same articles, the same videos, the same topics, because everybody's looking for the quick answer instead of investing in learning how to have sex. Let's learn how to have sex. So many different types of ways, because there are certain skills that you can use to make yourself squirt.
And there you have it. Squirting is natural, involuntary, and there's still a lot of mystery surrounding why it even happens. But whether it occurs for you or it doesn't, does not mean there is a sign that something is wrong with you either way. The bottom line is that squirting is something that can be really fun and an addition to your sex life, but it does not need to be and should not be a goal or a task to be achieved or accomplished. Continue exploring your own body solo and or with a partner to find out what makes you feel good. And if squirting happens, then it can be icing on the cake. If you enjoyed watching this episode, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you're notified anytime we drop a new video. Thank you again for joining me on this episode from Women's Health Interactive on squirting. I'm Vanessa Russell, and I'll see you next time.